everyone. Meistering here with... I really just want to kill this knight right now, but if there's a plague doctor, that, you know, that's risky. Okay, so the bard thinks that the knight might be corrupted. Right, there's a witch. Okay. Twin minion is either 1 away or 3 away. What if this poet is telling the truth? 6 and 4 could both be good, but then one of them would be corrupted by the plague doctor, and this bard would be evil. If one of them's... Yeah, if these are both good and one of them's corrupted, then this oracle is evil. And... then one of these is evil, which I guess would have to be the hunter, because the twin minion cannot be 1 away from anyone in this setup. And the only way for the twin minion to be 3 away is if it's 8. So it could be 3, 5, 8, and then 6 is corrupted by the plague doctor. So that is what could happen if 4 and 6 are both good. What if... Okay, what if... So if 3 is evil, then this is what we get. If 3 is corrupted, then... Okay, the bard is evil. And, one of these guys is evil. So... Oh, okay, could it be 6? Could the twin minion be 3 away? Well, this architect is truthful, this hunter is truthful, unless 9 is evil. Could it be this knight? Like, could it be 2, 5, and 6? That would be if 3 is corrupted. Okay. Man, I'm so tempted to kill 5 just to see what happens. But 5 could be corrupted, and 5 could also be telling the truth. Okay. So this is if 3 is not telling the truth. If 3 is not telling the truth, then... yeah, then 5 has to be evil. Okay, what if 5 is telling the truth? Okay, I want to just kill 9 to see what they are, but if 9 is a bombardier, or another knight who's corrupted, that'd be kind of funny. Let's see. Yeah, so 4 and 6 could both be good. Wait, if 3 was corrupted, could 6 be evil? The bard is evil. Oh, wait, no, I've already accounted for that possibility. Okay, could this poet be evil? 5 is evil. 6 is telling the truth, and it's 5 and 4. Or it's, I guess one of these two. Wait, okay, so what if I kill this bard and he's good? Well, then I know there's a plague doctor. And I know that either 8 or 2 is corrupted. Okay. Right, okay, so if I kill the bard, then... Yeah. If 8 was corrupted, then either 9 is evil, or 1, 9, and 6 are evil, and then... Or, sorry, 1, 9, and 6 are all good. Wait, so is this possible? In the case where 8 is corrupted, the bard is telling the truth. These 3 are evil. That is not possible. So if I find out that this bard is telling the truth, it could be that the hunter is... yeah, I mean, it could be that the hunter is corrupted, 9 is evil, and... I don't know. I am tempted to believe this oracle, even though I have established that it's possible that the oracle is lying. Okay, so if 8 is corrupted, then 5 is telling the truth, 9 is evil. It's impossible for the left side to be more evil, because at most it's just this one guy. And then there's one on the right. Okay. Then... yeah, then 4 or 6 is evil. Okay, so it could be 1, 9, 4 or 6. And then 8 is corrupted. This world gets really complicated if I assume that the Plague Doctor is real. Is it possible that 6 is telling the truth? I mean, probably. I'm just going to kill 6 and see what happens. Okay, cool. Alright, so this Bombardier is probably real. I guess I can't be 100% sure, since 7 could be a Plague Doctor. Okay. Well, now that I know that 5 is evil, I can get rid of that hypothetical. So 8 and 2 are not corrupted then. Yeah, no matter what, 8 and 2 are not corrupted, because at most there is 1 corruption. So if either of them were corrupted, this witch would be telling the truth. Okay. And then this hunter is, yeah, not corrupted. Yeah, so 4 and 6. Well, if the Bombardier is real, then there's no Plague Doctor, and 4 or 6 has to be evil, since they can't both be truthful. Okay, could this poet be telling the truth? Twin minion is 3 cards away from closest evil. Well, in that case, the twin minion cannot be any of these. Oh, let's see. Twin minion cannot be any of these. Twin minion could be 8, and then, I don't know, like 3 is the other evil. 3 is the Lilith. Or it could be, I don't know, 1 is the twin minion, and then, well, I guess in that case, 4 would be the other evil, since it can't be 7. Well, or it could be the Bombardier, and then it's either 6 or 3. I feel like this poet's probably lying. Okay, cool. Oracle's truthful, Scout is truthful, and it's probably... Oh, okay, so the Bombardier has to be real, since the Lilith would never disguise the Bombardier. And now I just, you know, take my pick. Alright, we're off to a good start. We have 3 outcasts, and... Alright, this bishop is telling the truth. 6 is the evil, that means 1 is not evil, and 2 is a villager. Okay. Yeah, we could have a fake Bombardier, and then a doppelganger or drunk. I guess we don't have any double claims, so there's no no doppelganger. Chancellor really 3 away from closest evil? I find that hard to believe. Okay, suppose the scout is telling the truth. Then, we know 2 is good, so all of the possible evils are in here, and those are just not 3 away from each other. So this scout is lying, and not corrupted. Okay. One more evil. Let's see if 5 is corrupted. Alright. Well, we have we have 2 bombardiers. Yes, the lover thinks the jester is good. We have a 3rd outcast. Can it be that there's a doppelganger and a drunk? Well, these 2 scouts are saying the same thing. Which makes me think I can believe them. Oh, okay, so the Chancellor is one of these guys. Alright. So that means one of these has to be an outcast. Yeah, because the Ba would not disguise as a bombardier. Oh, and that means one of the bombardiers is real. And... okay. So one of the bombardiers is real. The right side of the board contains the last outcast. And that means 6 and 7 can contain at most one person who's lying. There's no corruption other than the drunk, who is not on the left half of the board. And if one of these 2 was evil, the other one would have to be evil. So I think these just both have to be good and truthful. Okay. Alright, so what does this jester think? Does this jester think there's, well, I don't know. Let's see what... I need help distinguishing these bombardiers. So let's see what this jester thinks about one of the bombardiers. 0 evils. Cool. So this is probably the doppelganger pair. What does this druid think about the bombardier? Okay, druid's telling the truth. Oh, so the scouts are the drunk and the Ba. Okay. I don't think it's possible to distinguish between them, so let's just kill one and then kill the other. Got it. Okay. There's no bombardier, so there has to be a doppelganger. And the doppelganger pair is only the enlightened. And one of them has to be telling the truth because of the doppelganger. And closest evil is equidistant, means they just go all the way around the circle. No evils adjacent to this lover. Well, if she was the puka, then she'd be telling the truth. So it just has to be the jester. Alright, another another double bombardier game. So one of these guys is the puppeteer, which leads me to believe this oracle is probably telling the truth. Nice. So that was a bit of a gamble. Okay. What does this dreamer do? Well, this alchemist must be good then. 1, 3, and 8 contain an evil. Well, this oracle is telling the truth. So if the bombardier is evil, if number 7 is evil, then it would have to also be the lover. These would be the 2 evils. And yeah, 1, 3, and 8 would contain 1 evil. And this all makes sense. What if this bombardier is evil? Then the Empress has to be evil because 1, 3, and 8 are all good. Alright, let's see what the judge says. Judge thinks the Empress is lying. Okay. And, I'm going to test the puppet on the top bombardier. Okay. Anyway, 1, 3, and 8 are good. 8 is good, so 7 must be good. I was hoping the puppet would say something else on 7, just so I could be extra sure. Okay. 6 was affected by an evil. Okay, that's probably true. This guy cured 2 corruptions. Alright. That can't be true. And the only way somebody could be corrupted is if they were the drunk. And unfortunately for the drunk, I am more than happy to kill a drunk. Alright, Dreamer's lying. Rest in piss. Drunk. Alright, so. Right, so 3 is an outcast. Oh, 6 has to be real, because there are 2 outcasts, and the Plague Doctor and Wretch cannot exist, so it just has to be the Drunk and the Bombardier. Okay, so one of these 3... Oh, one of these 4, actually, has to be Chancellor. If, well, so this witness has to be telling the truth then, which means 6 is the outcast that was created by the Chancellor. So, yeah, it has to be one of these 2. Either way, 7 is telling the truth, and 5 must, by process of elimination, be lying. Cured 0. I believe you. Okay. Cured 2. Alright, let's kill this alchemist. Nope. Ah, freaking witch. So annoying. Closest evil is counterclockwise. Okay, that is false. Bruh. Okay, this alchemist did not cure 2 corruptions, so we can just do that. Now what? Well, 1 should have killed 5, so, bye-bye. Okay, yeah, this could be a puppeteer. Evils are not adjacent. Well, that's obviously false. Okay. Well, 8 is not the puppet. 2 must be the puppet. And 8 is not corrupted. Okay. Nice and easy round. No corrupted characters. Alright. Good job, Plague Doctor. You get to live. We don't know if this poet is corrupted or if the poet is just evil. Okay, 3 is accusing 2 or 4 of being a puppeteer, which leads me to think that the Oracle might be the puppet. I guess if the Oracle is not the puppet, then the Oracle is probably lying. Okay, cool. What does this judge think? This judge is a big liar. 1, 5, and 7. Only 1 pair of evil is true if the knitter is good. Wait, we don't have 2 outcasts. What am I doing? Yep, we have 1 outcast. There's no Chancellor. 5 is definitely good. Awesome. It's a lot of mediums. Okay. Could be a doppelganger. Okay, the poet is good for sure, because she's including herself in her bishop info. Is 3 corrupted? Okay, good job, Plague Doctor. What a hero. If the Plague Doctor ended up being a big liar, then, I don't know, it sucks to suck. And I guess we would know that 3 is telling the truth, And that would mean 5 is telling the truth. Anyway, 5 is not a real bishop, so let's get her out of here. And... okay. 8 is not a real medium, and it's impossible for 2 to be corrupted, since 3 was corrupted by the Plague Doctor, and the corrupting evils are too far away. 4 away from closest evil. Okay, well that is false. Hey! Alright. Judge is truthful. 2 pairs of evil, find that unlikely. Wait, oh my goodness. Of course, yeah, I was in my head, this oracle was saying 2 is the poisoner, and I'm like, okay, well that's obviously false. Okay. Oh, so the other oracle has to be real. Well, I don't know. Anyway, we know 8 is good. 9 is a fake Plague Doctor. Alright, yeah, there's only one outcast. Yeah, get out of my game. Yeah, 2 or 9 is a poisoner. Yeah, 4 or 8 is a witch. We know that 8 is good because of this Empress's info. So 8 is good and corrupted. This knitter is telling the truth. This, I cannot add to this pair of evil. Oh, and that means the other knitter is lying and evil. Awesome. Six was affected by an evil. Okay, well that is false since we do not have a Chancellor. Bishop is telling the truth. There are no hidden outcasts, so this Bombardier is real. There are no hidden outcasts, and there's nobody else claiming to be an outcast. Okay. There's no corruption here, so if 2 of the same role disagree, one of them has to be evil, which means the Architect pair cannot be from the Shaman. So it just has to be 3 who is evil. I mean, it's either 3 or 7, and then the lovers are kind of pointing at 3. Okay, no corrupted characters. It's possible. Is it? Architect, Hunter, Bard, Jester, Poet, Empress, Dreamer. Okay, these are all different, which means there's no Doppelganger. We know there's no Plague Doctor, we know there's no Doppelganger, so it just has to be Bombardier and Drunk. Which means this Bard is a big liar. What about this Dreamer? Dreamer is also a big liar. Oh, that was easy. Puppeteer is 3 away from closest evil. Okay, well, if this Bard is to be believed, then 7 is possibly corrupted by 6. Okay, so what do we have here? We have 2 scouts and we have 2 bishops. Well, yeah, so one of those pairs is a doppelganger pair. If 7 and 8 are the doppelganger pair, then 8 is the doppelganger and 7 is corrupted, since 6 is the puka. Then the bishop is also lying. I don't know whether the bishop is corrupted or evil. Wait, so 6 is the puka. The bishop... Actually, the bishop could be telling the truth if the bishop is the puppet, which would mean 1, 2, and 3 contain an evil, which is false. So this bishop would be lying. So 1, 2, and 3 are all villagers. So... yeah, so it has to be 5 is the puppeteer, 4 is the puppet, and 1 is a villager, 4 is a minion, and 8 is the doppelganger. Okay, so that, yeah, 1 evil adjacent, and depending on if the Slayer succeeds in killing somebody, this is very possible. Okay, so that is if 7 is corrupted. So if 7 is corrupted, yeah, so 7 is not honest. So if I kill 7 and 7 is corrupted, then I have a solution. Whoop, yeah. Silly Puka accusing herself. Alright, Bishop is truthful. Bard is almost certainly not truthful. Is it possible that the Bard is truthful? Well, sure. If the Puka is between, 2 minions or, a minion and an outcast. Okay, well, Bishop is truthful, 3 cannot be a villager. So the Bishop is good. And then, could there be a doppelganger? Well, there could be a doppelganger, but the Enlightened cannot be a doppelganger. Oh, the Bishop could be a doppelganger. Okay, so the Enlightened is either good or evil. Right, okay, so the reason I'm asking is how possible is it that 3 is a fake bombardier? 3 could be a fake bombardier and 1 could be a doppelganger. Then outcast, minion, villager. Then, yeah, so the bishops would be a doppelganger pair, and number 9 would be telling the truth, and 6 or 8 would be evil, and the other would be a villager. Yeah, because 1 is the doppelganger. Yeah, okay, sure. Well, I think bishop number 9 has to be telling the truth because 6 and 8 cannot both be villagers. Yeah, that's impossible. Even if 6 and 8 contained a doppelganger, that's not a villager. Okay, so 9 is for sure telling the truth, and 1 is for sure telling the truth. Which means that's a doppelganger pair, and the bombardier is fake. Okay, doppelganger, fake bombardier, real enlightened. Left side is more evil. I think that has to be true because, actually, this architect could be a puka and would be between 2 people who can't be corrupted, which would make the bard truthful. Okay, so one of these scouts has to be the twin minion. So if the bard is lying, he would have to be the puka, which would corrupt 9. So that's actually impossible. So the bard has to be telling the truth, 2 has to be the puka, and 8 is lying. Okay, what does this druid think of the Plague Doctor? Okay, druid believes the Plague Doctor. Does the other druid believe the Plague Doctor? No. Okay, so, wait, we could have a second alchemist. That would, if 6 was an alchemist, and 6 cured whoever is corrupted, that would be kind of funny. Right, so this alchemist did not cure any corruption. If 4 was corrupted, then the alchemist would have cured that. Okay. The Lilith will not disguise as a plague doctor, which means 1 cannot be a fake plague doctor. 1 has to be a real plague doctor, and the bard has to be... Oh, 6 is an alchemist who cured corruption. Okay, no corrupted characters means it's safe to kill a knight. What a cheeky little alchemist curing corruption and being impossible to see. Alright, Bishop's telling the truth. We could have a doppelganger. Well, let's see. Bishop, lover, judge, fortune teller. Oh, we have 2 judges. These are possible doppelgangers. Okay, bishop, lover, fortune teller, medium, enlightened, dreamer, scout. Okay, those are all different. Let's just see what these 2 judges think of the bishop. Okay, so this judge is truthful and this judge is not truthful. So it's possible that 7 is a doppelganger. Oh, by the way, this lover is for sure truthful. So 6 and 7 are for sure truthful and good. Oh, which means 4 has to be evil. 7 has to be the doppelganger. 8 is corrupted. And this medium is a big liar. Since 7 is a fake judge, who's still doing the judge's job, but is not a judge. Possibly no corruption, yeah. If there's no plague doctor and instead we have a bombardier, yeah. Okay. There's no drunk, so going down to 6 health doesn't matter. And nobody can be killed by the Lilith anymore. Okay, so 2 pairs of evil. Well, could that be true? Maybe? Okay, well, if this is true... Well, hold on. So we have a shaman. So the 2 knitters could be real. Or the 2 mediums could be real. These 2 knitters are disagreeing with each other. Wait, so what if I kill this knitter and it turns out that this knitter is good? Well, if the knitter is corrupted, I kill the bombardier, and then 8 is, 8's a plague doctor, the bard is lying, and, I don't know. Okay, okay, so the knitter's telling the truth. There are 2 pairs of evil. Man, I'm gonna feel so stupid if 8 is a plague doctor. Okay. So 2 pairs of evil. If 3... Okay, so 4 is not a real knitter. Okay. I feel like it probably is 5 and 9. Wait, hold on a second. Man, I don't know. Well, okay, so we know this architect is good, because if the architect was evil, then that's 3 evils on the right, and the architect is actually telling the truth. Could the architect be corrupted? Well, if that's the case, then bard's lying, bombardier's evil, medium's evil. That's just too many. Yeah, so architect is truthful. If there are 2 pairs of evil, could it be these 3? No, because 9 would be lying about 5, so 5 is not a real medium, but that's not possible. Okay, so 5 is fake. Okay. And this medium is lying. If this medium was corrupted, I think it's impossible for this medium to be corrupted, because if that's true, the bard is evil, but also the bombardier is evil. Okay. Well, that sure happened. Okay. We do not have any legal duplicates, so these bishops are lying. Yeah, I chose 1 instead of 3 because 3 could be corrupted. Anyway, this druid thinks that there are no outcasts, which is a lie. Yeah. Okay, so there are no face-down outcasts, so these 2 outcasts have to be real. What I was wondering for a moment was if the Chancellor could have made the wretch, and then there's like a drunk on the left or something. But this druid is lying. Okay. Alright, Dreamer is lying, Druid is lying, Bishop is lying. I think that just means the Druid has to be a puka. Okay. Alright, original Baker, cool. Bishop pointing at herself is good. Not necessarily truthful, but good. And also must be a villager. Wait, so 3 is a villager, 7 is a villager, and that means that 1 must be a villager as well. Okay, so the bishop just has to be corrupted by the puka. Okay, I think it has to be the Slayer. Yeah. Yeah, so 3 was corrupted by the puka. If 4 was the puka, then the fortune teller would lie and say false. So it had to be 2. Okay, so we have a shaman pair. Okay, we got 2 alchemists, and other than that, we got bishop, judge, fortune teller, confessor, slayer. Okay. Those are all different, so the 2 alchemists have to be real. We don't know if 2 could be corrupted. I mean, 2 could be corrupted. We don't know if 2 is corrupted. We also one of these has to be fake. Let's just do a simple, well, I think 8 has to be real. Because if 8 was fake, we know that 2 is a real alchemist. No, we have a poisoner. So 2 could be corrupted by the poisoner, or 2 could have cured the poisoner's corruption. Either way, it is possible that the Plague Doctor is real, or fake. Those are the 2 possibilities, I guess. I don't believe this bishop. 6 is evil. Okay, that is false. Okay. 7 is not corrupted. I don't think it's possible that 7 is telling the truth, so goodbye. I guess the bombardier could have been fake, which I guess that would have been good enough. Knowing that would have been good enough. 2 plague doctors. Okay, so 7 is good. So that's nice when a fake plague doctor accuses someone of being evil when I don't actually know if they're evil yet. Let's see. Well, okay, so we have 2 outcasts. Is there anything I want to do before... Well, okay, so 2 or 3 is in fact evil. Alright, what about 5 and... What about 4 and 5? Okay, so one of these is evil. Probably 5 is what I'm guessing. Well, 5 didn't kill 4, so I'm going to kill 5. Alright. 2 away from corrupted characters, so Bard thinks that 9 is corrupted by the Plague Doctor. Alright, let's see if the Plague Doctor agrees with that. Nope. What does this Druid think? Druid thinks Plague Doctor. What does Fortune Teller think? Fortune Teller thinks 8 is evil. Okay, the Bard was corrupted. I guess it turned out the same either way. Okay. We have 2 Empresses, which is possible since we might have a doppelganger. Only one pair of evil. That I don't know if I believe that. It's possible. I'm gonna kill 7. Okay. So 2, 6, and 7 do contain an evil and a villager. Okay, cool. So Poet thinks Knitter is evil. Yeah, so the only outcast on the board has been accounted for. The Empress is telling the truth. Yeah, because 2 or 6 has to be evil. 2 or 6 has to be evil, which means this Empress is truthful. This Architect is truthful. Yeah, I think it has to be 2 and then 7. I mean 2 and then 5. Okay. Um, 4 away from corrupted. Okay, a bard that says 4 or more is telling the truth. So 3 is corrupted. So it's either 0 evils among these or 2. And I think it has to be both of them. Yeah. Cool. Alright, 2 pairs of evil. One or 5 is a Chancellor. Well, 5's not, so 1 could be a Chancellor. Lover thinks that 7 is good. Alright. Gemcrafter thinks that 6 is good. Okay, what if the Gemcrafter is a big liar? Well, then 6 is evil, and 7 is evil, and then 1 is good. And then Poet is lying. So what? The 9's 9 would be a Chancellor because the Knitters. Well, it's probably the Knitters that are the doppelganger pair, and then 2 is a real Bombardier. Okay, so this is if I assume that this Gemcrafter is a big liar. If the Gemcrafter is evil, 6 is evil, 7 is evil, so those are the 3 evils, and then the Poet is corrupted. The Knitters are also lying, and that's not possible. So the Gemcrafter is good. If the Gemcrafter is corrupted, then 6 is evil, 7 has to be evil, 1 is good, Poet is evil, and then the 2 Knitters are the doppelganger pair, and then the Bombardier is real, and the Chancellor is not touching an outcast. So that's impossible. So Gemcrafter's telling the truth for sure. Lover is good. I guess it's possible if the Lover is corrupted. Okay. Okay, suppose the Lover is corrupted. Well then, 7 is the poisoner. 1 is telling the truth. Or 1 is good. 1 is good is what I meant. Oh yeah, 2 cards away from closest evil is false. I don't know, I'm just gonna kill 1 and see what happens. Okay, 1 is a Chancellor. Cool. Oracle is telling the truth. Lover is telling the truth. Poet is telling the truth. Other Knitter is a big liar. And so is this Poet. And, yeah. It was a bit of luck there. I don't know. Whatever. So that's where I'm going to call it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.